Hey guys, welcome back to another super tutorial. In this one we are going to work on this cool looking spaceship chair. Just like what I did in the previous tutorial, I will try to turn a design into 3D in Cinema 4D. You don't have to use Cinema 4D, you can use Max, Maya, Blender, whatever you have, as the tools that I will be using in this tutorial are kinda universal. So if you are ready, let's get into it. I will make a quick start by adding a cube, making it editable, then deleting those polygons. I'm going to scale this along the X, then let me see, yeah, I need to move that edge up. The reason being I need more space on that side of the model. Now I'm going to slide that edge to somewhere around here. Okay, I think it is time to bring in a loop so that we can delete these edges and put the object into a symmetry object. Once I have done that, I'm going to go into edge mode, select that edge and move it along the X. We need that angle. Next up, oh, I forgot to extrude that up. I will hold on control, move it up, and let's go to the right view and move the edge here. Perfect. By the way, let me turn up that mirror plane. Now we need to work on the bevels. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bevels. Let's start with this one. I will select the point and bevel it out with 0 subdivision. Next up, I will select the edge. Again, bevel tool and bevel it out with 0 subdivision. I will do the same thing here. And finally, since I cannot bevel edges or edge, I will select the point and bevel it out. To correct the topology, I will grab the line cut tool, connect that point to that edge. I will tap E to exit the tool. I need the same edge on that side. Perfect. Now we need to support those bevels. If you watched my previous tutorial, I mentioned that you need supporting edges to support these bevels. And the idea is to keep these edges apart about the same. It doesn't have to be perfect. Something rough will do the job. I will set this to normal and move it like so. Okay, that looks good to me. What about that one? I will just add in that one and those ones to support those bevels. And to make the surface uniform, I will drop in those loops. I don't want to add in too many segments because I will be using this mesh as a main source of polygon. I will be splitting out those polygons, so we should keep it as simple as possible. Now let's select all the polygons, right click, extrude, and enable caps option, and extrude these out. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see that those edges have bevels. So let me double click on them. And then apply the bevel tool again, right click, bevel, keep it at 0 and bevel these out. It is time to drop this symmetry into a subdivision surface. Hold down Alt and click on sub icon. You can see that the object is cut in half. The reason is we have those polygons in the middle. We need to delete them time to time. So I will go to the top view, grab the rectangle selection tool. I am using the rectangle selection because it selects the polygons or components that we cannot see through. I will select everything inside of that box. Now I will just delete them, enable symmetry, subdivision surface. Obviously we need to tighten up those edges, and I'm going to do that by cloning the selected edges. Right click, slide, hold on control and clone them off. I will double click, then hold down control, clone. One more time, and the last time. But this time around, you can notice that the selection stops at those points because these points are poles. So loop selection will stop at those points. You need to hold down shift and select the other edges that you want to bevel or clone. Then slide tool, hold down control, clone them in. Perfect. Let me back out. There is a detail that you cannot see in this image plane, and it is right in the back. So firstly, let me even out those edges. I'm going to select them all except for that one. Right click, equal spacing tool. Then I'm going to select that point and slide it down. The idea is to create a semicircular shape with those polygons. Let me slide that down. It is the same idea again. Whenever you need a round detail or part, you need to keep those points about the same apart. Now I will do the same thing to the bottom. Even though we are not going to see the bottom, I don't want to skip it. Okay, that will be more than enough. Now I will select those polygons. Then, actually, no. Firstly, I want to select those edges and clone them in. Alt and Control. Add in those edges. Then, select those polygons. Right click, extrude, turn off caps. Extrude them in. Once you have done that, click on New Transform, Ctrl Z, and extrude them out. I will enable Subdivision Surface. Leftovers in the middle. So I will go to the top view, select those polygons, and then delete them. Enable this back. That part is quite pointy because we haven't enabled the weld option in the symmetry. So let's enable this. I'm going to slide that edge down, and maybe we can double click on that edge loop. I'm going to select those points, make sure that the axis is set to normal, and move this down. Now I will double click on these ones again, grab the slide tool, but this time around I will hold down Shift so that I can move these edges along their normals. Okay, that looks enough to me, which means that we can start to work on the other parts. So let me see. I'm going to turn off the subdivision surface and select those polygons. Then I'm going to split them out, right click. Firstly, let's open up the options because I want to enable this option. If this is turned off, it basically deletes the polygons from the original mesh. In this case, we don't want that, so split, enable. To simplify it, I'm going to remove those edges. Then, Alt and Control, move this down. Let's go to the right view, scale. And yeah, maybe the angle should be something like that. Okay, that looks fine to me. Next up, we need to bevel out that edge. Right click, bevel. Again, I will do it with 0 subdivision. I will select those polygons, move them up. You know the rule, we need to support the bevel with those supporting edges. And then we can extrude these out with the extrude tool, but this time enable the caps. If you don't enable this, your extrusion will be something like that. The object will not be closed. So enable it, extrude them out. And then I will do something similar to what I did to the first mesh. I am talking about the frame. And actually, if I zoom in, you will notice that detail as well. So let's select those edges. Then bevel them out. And finally, to support, to tighten up those bevels, we need to add in some supporting edges. Let's turn this off. I'm going to add this one in, and then I need to select those edges. Slide tool, Alt and Control, clone them in. That edge loop might be really dangerous, so I'm going to delete it. I mean, dissolve it and drop in loop in the middle. And then I will drop in those ones. Yeah, this looks way better than before. Also, it is not going to add in too much stress around here. I'm going to select those polygons. Then right click, extrude, turn off caps because the object is already closed. Extrude these in, then new transform, Ctrl Z, and this time around push them out. Let's not forget to delete the components in the middle time to time. So I will go to the top view, select them all. Also, I am keeping an eye on the coordinates along the X. If they are off, just zero them out, then delete them. Okay, let's enable subdivision surface. Okay, this is exactly what I am looking after. You can see that that part is looking so smooth, like a real chair. Also, to make it look more like a chair, I mean a part of a chair, I'm going to add in those cuts. But firstly, we need to grow up the selection one time. Sorry. Let's not forget to include those polygons to the selection. We select grow up selection, then right click and split them off. This time around, I want to keep this off because I want to delete these polygons from the original mesh. Let's hide it. Yeah, exactly. Actually, while this object is not visible, I'm going to drop in that loop. Now unhide the second one, enable subdivision surface. Looks nice. Then to add in those details. I'm going to select that loop first. Right click, bevel. I will set this to 1 so that I can select those edges in the middle. Then move them in with the slide tool. But do not apply the tool straight up, Alt and Shift, and then move the edges. This is going to move them along their normals. Now I will go into point mode and move these points around. Okay, the other one is supposed to be around here. So let's apply the bevel. By the way, the more offset you add in, the softer the shape will look. So if I do something like that and then scale those edges in, this is the look that I will get, but I'm not sure that this is what I am looking after. So I will hit Ctrl Z and bevel them out like so. Then I will select these edges, right click, slide tool, hold and shift and move these edges along their normals. I'm going to move these points around. Let me select these ones only. Okay, that looks just a little bit better. Next up, I will go to the base. In fact, let me call this base and select those polygons. Right click, split. I will enable this option again. I don't want to delete them from the original mesh. Now what we need to do is hold and Control and extrude these edges. Then I will go to the right view and move them like so. It seems like it is too much, so let me slide this back. And to simplify the process, I'm going to dissolve out these edges. And then I will set this to normal. I will move that point up until the top edges are almost straight. I will select these points. It seems like we need more than that, so I will remove those edges again for the same reason, to keep the mesh as simple as possible. I will turn off the symmetry. I will also move the object up and hide the other ones. Let's move that up, then delete these polygons. Somehow that edge loop isn't straight, but we can fix it up by sliding that point up and down, up, down, up. This is going to average the position of that point. Next up, we need to find a way to relax that area. It is for sure that that point will cause some problems. So what I need to do is add in some segments around that point. Let's grab the line cut tool, connect that point to that one. Then polygonpen tool, hold down Control and get rid of that edge. I will click on that point and add in that edge. Also, I am going to drop in a loop here. I will slide that edge like so. Then I'm going to slide these points down so that I can have that diagonal edge. Speaking of that, that edge is looking just too sharp. So I will connect that point to that one, then hold down Control and get rid of that edge. Yeah, this is going to be way better. We just need to support that bevel with an extra loop around here. That point is supposed to be round, so bevel it out with 0 subdivision. Then again, to support that loop, to support the bevel, we need that loop. Unfortunately, I cannot add the loop to that n-gun. The loop cut stops whenever it faces an n-gun, but you can turn this off in the options of the loop cuts. Select the loop cuts, go to the settings and turn off stop cut at n-gun. Now it should go all the way around. And yeah, it is supposed to be around here. I will select these ones and slide them. Now let's select all the polygons. Control A, extrude, enable caps. I will unhide the other ones. I will go in that direction. I will delete these polygons, but this time around I need to zero out the position and the size. So let's come down over here, zero this out and delete. Enable symmetry, subdivision surface. I'm going to set the axis to world. I will go to the right view, move that up along with these points. Next up, we need to bevel out these edges. Let me solo it. Bevel them out. Let's not forget that one. Bevel them out. Also, I forgot to add in that edges in. Let's add this one real quick. Then to support these bevels, you know what to do. And hold down Control, clone them in. Again, same process. Hold down Control, extrude them in. I believe that one is looking better than the original. Yeah, definitely. For the inside, I'm going to select these ones, then extrude them in first. Make sure that the caps option is turned off. This is important. Extrude them in, then click on new transform, change the offset. I will enable this. By the way, yeah, I forgot to delete this once again. So top view, select everything in the middle, and then zero out the position and size, then delete. Before splitting out these polygons, I will select these points and move them like so. Okay, now select those polygons. Then grow up the selection one time. We select grow selection, right click, split. I will turn this off because I want to delete these polygons from the original mesh. I will hide it, go to the first one and add in that loop. Unhide this one. To increase up the softness, you can select these polygons, then apply the normal move tool. By the way, I will hit Ctrl Z because I forgot to add in a detail. I just want to make sure that this is a single piece. Yes. So what I forgot is a loop cut around here. That part is supposed to be more pointy, if you know what I mean. Yeah, this is exactly what we need. It might be too close though, so I will hit this one somewhere around here. This is obviously will break that bevel, so I will hit NNG and select those edges only. Then NNA or NNB, slide tool, slide this down just to even out those edges. Now let's go back to this one. I'm going to dissolve out that edge. The reason is I want a straight edge loop to add in that cut. I will duplicate this, then slide that edge like so. Then I'm going to select those polygons again, row up the selection, then split them out. Right click, bevel these out with one subdivision. Double click on that edge loop and use the slide tool. I'm going to drop in some loops. And maybe we can slide that up. Now I will select those edges only, then bevel them out with again one subdivision. This will create that triangle looking polygon. So maybe we should connect that one to that one. If I enable subdivision surface and hit NNB, you can see that the surface is not looking that bad. The reason is those n-gons turn into quads when the subdivision surface is enabled. So what we need is select those edges and then that one also, right click, slide, Alt and Shift and move them along the normals. Actually, we should do that while the subdivision surface is enabled. So let's Alt and Shift, slide them in. The current resolution is not enough. I mean, you can see those edges. So let's increase that up. Next up, I will, I'm not sure about, but I'm going to select these points and move them on along the X just to create more room for the upcoming detail. Speaking of that detail, I am going to select those polygons. I will solo it. Select these ones as well. Maybe that one. Then split them out. Right click, split. I want to keep those polygons on the original mesh. Next, I will double click on the edges at the top, slide them down to mesh the same radius, bevel radius. I'm going to move that point around here, and for these edges, I'm going to move them up. But first, I should set this to normal. Then we need another loop somewhere around here. I will just extrude these polygons. I will enable the caps. Okay, let's not forget to delete the polygons in the middle. Select them and delete. Next up, I am trying to remember what I did around here. So if I'm not wrong, I just straight up selected those edges. Let's solo it. And then cloned them in. These are not looking that good, so I will slide them around. Okay, this part is not important as it is not going to be visible. Next, I'm going to select these polygons in the middle and apply the same thing. Extrude, turn off caps, enable transform, but change the offset. I will delete the polygons in the middle. Before doing that though, I will set this back to world, delete, turn off solo mode, enable symmetry and subdivision surface. I'm going to solo it one more time because I want to bevel out these edges with 0 subdivision. To sharpen them, I will hit in those edges real quick. I am not vibing that part. I think there should be a better match between the objects. So what we could do is simply play around with the points of the objects. Actually, it is not surprising that we are not getting a match, because if you look at that edge loop, it is so far away from that one, therefore we get that unmatched look. So I can select these ones and slide them until I match those edges roughly. And the other one is that one. I will hit NNG, select these ones. But make sure that while moving these points around, you check the other panels. The reason is the surface we are working on is, as you can see, is angled. If you move the components around with the move tool, this is what you are going to get. Unfortunately, if you set this to normal, it's not going to work because we are selecting multiple components. So the best thing we could do is open up the other panels and keep an eye on each of them, especially on the right one. So I will hit Ctrl Z and select these ones again with the rectangle selection tool. I will move them down. I am mainly using the right panel. And that should be it. Let's see. Okay, that looks way better. I think we just need to select those points and move them like so. I'm going to select these edges. It is not strictly necessary. I just want to even these out with the equal spacing tool. Let's select these ones. I will use the normal move tool. I will slightly move the top part down. Let's select these ones. Then right click, slide. I'm not going to slide them. Actually, I will use the slide tool to move these edges along the normals. So I will hold down shift and move them in. Let's move on to the last detail. I will select the base, select those polygons, right click, split, and move these edges like so. Actually, no, I will just hold down Control, then move that edge. Double click on that edge loop, slide it up. It seems like these edges are not straight, so I will go to the front view, grab the line cut tool, add that point in, then go to the other side, hold down shift to make the cut straight. Then delete these edges. Now let's slide this. I'm going to select all the polygons. Extrude tool. We should enable the caps. By the way, whenever you are extruding a flat surface, make sure that this is always enabled, because you don't want an open mesh. Now I will turn this off. Actually, firstly, I need to apply the tool with the caps option turned on. Then I will click off and select them and apply the tool one more time, but this time I should turn off the caps. I'm going to slide them in. I will delete these polygons in the middle. I will zero these out, delete. We will basically drop in some loops. For the back, unfortunately, it's not going to be as easy as adding a loop because it's not going to go all the way around. So we need to select those edges and clone them in with the slide tool. I will hold down Control, duplicate that edge loop, then use the slide tool again. We need some extra loops. Proportional wise, this is not looking any similar to the target image. So let me select the top points, turn off solo modes, and move them up. Okay, that seems better. I will double click on that loop, dissolve it out, and edit back. I'm going to remove those loops because I want to slide that edge loop. Then I can add this back in. To make the shape look a little bit softer, I'm going to connect those points, then double click on these edges to dissolve them out. This is absolutely looking better. Connect the points, then dissolve out the edges. We can drop in some loops. I will move this down. By the way, I might sound really tired and boring. The reason being, I recorded 3 tutorials today, so excuse me for this. But we are about to finish this tutorial. I'm doing the last touches. I want to move them like so with the normal move tool. Normal move tool is probably my second favorite tool after the polygonpen tool. It makes things so easier to manipulate. I'm going to move these up, and then lastly I will select them, set the axis to normal. I will drop in that loop just to make the surface a little bit more uniform. I think we should delete that loop. I mean dissolve it out. My final adjustment will be on that part. I mean the back part of it doesn't look very well. So I'm going to try to use the set flow tool on these edges. I'm going to select them, except for that one. Then right click and apply the set flow tool. Yeah, that looks just a little bit better. I'm going to stick out that part, which means that I need to select those objects and move them up. Alright guys, this is going to be it. Thank you very much if you are still here. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. You can find the Discord link in the description if you have questions, if you want to join the challenges. Everything about this channel you can find on that Discord server. So hopefully I will see you in the next ones. Bye.